All right, so let's start with the big story that we are tracking on WION at this hour. With the fast-paced developments unfolding in Kabul, with the takeover of the presidential palace by the Taliban fighters, the foreign embassies from different parts of the world are winding up their operations and are beginning the evacuation of their staff members. Now, according to reports, India is also gearing up to evacuate hundreds of its officials and citizens from Kabul to ensure their safety. Now, according to officials tracking the developments, India has prepared contingency plans, including evacuating its staff members and stranded nationals in the country. Now, according to reports, a fleet of C-17 Globemaster military transport aircraft of the Indian Air Force has been kept on standby to undertake the emergency evacuation missions. However, there has been no official confirmation yet regarding the evacuation plans. The Taliban, remember, has made lightning advances across Afghanistan. This is something that the international community, led by the Americans, did not expect. Now, ever since the Americans began withdrawing its troops from Afghanistan from the 1st of May, the speed of the collapse of the Ashraf Ghani government and also the Afghan forces has in fact spurred endless postmortems about what has actually gone wrong and who is to be blamed for the crisis that is presently unfolding in Afghanistan. All right, now to get us more details in terms of what's actually happening in Afghanistan, we are joined in by WION Siddhant Civil, who's joining us live on this broadcast. Good morning to you, Siddhant. Now, bring us up to speed with what is happening with the evacuation operation of the Indian embassy staff members who are presently in Afghanistan.
Well, when it comes to the Indian mission, Indian government is working in terms of making sure that safety of its diplomats, the non-essential staff and its nationals are paramount for New Delhi. And we know the number of flights which have been coming from Afghanistan over past few weeks. But the big question is the situation on the ground now, because we know that Kabul airport, the visuals coming from Kabul airport is something of course shows shock on the ground, and there is chaos in the city as well. It has been, of course, a long night, but largely what happens to the airspace is the big question, because the latest reports say that only military planes are allowed, and what the Indian government sources yesterday evening told that all scheduled Air India flights will continue as per schedule. But now things have changed drastically. In fact, things have changed almost on a minute-by-minute basis. So the big question right now is that will more Air India flights go to Kabul or not is the big question. But as the day develops and as New Delhi and other countries count what has happened on Sunday, then perhaps more decisive action can be taken. We also know that India-led UNSC meeting on Afghanistan is going to take place later in the day. The meeting starts at 7:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time, and all the countries will be speaking, including the P5 member countries, on the situation which we all unfolded, which we all saw being unfolded on Sunday, particularly when it comes to chaos in Kabul.
Right, at this point of time, Siddhant, do we know as to how many Indian nationals are presently in Afghanistan who could be evacuated back home?
Well, according to a parliamentary paper just 2 weeks ago, this question was asked to the MEA. They said that 1,500 Indian nationals are present, but this is a number which, of course, is expected to change, and India has brought back many of its civilians in past few weeks. So this number has, of course, has reduced now, but the exact number is very difficult to be given right now. For one reason, security concerns, the number being out is considered a security concern for particularly the Indian nationals sitting in the country, who could be in fact sitting ducks for a situation which is unfolding. Secondly, when it comes to the Indian nationals, these Indian nationals mostly have been engaged in development works. In fact, the Indian mission in Kabul, in its last security advisory earlier this month, pointed that there were three Indian engineers who were stuck in a dam, the India-Afghanistan Friendship Dam in the western province of Herat, how they were rescued. So most likely that by now most of these Indian civilians have been taken out, and the Indian civilians who are still there are, of course, made sure that the Indian mission is working to make sure that these Indians are in a safe area.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Siddhant Sibil, for joining us and getting us all those updates. We'll, of course, come back to you as more details emerge in this story. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.